Welcome to the Authentically Elisa podcast, Reshaping Business with Integrity, the podcast where we explore how to run your business authentically and with integrity. I'm your host, Elisa Bogarts, a business coach and launch manager, helping coaches launch their programs and events that align with their business values. Together, we'll uncover the secrets to building a successful business without sacrificing morals, ethics, authenticity, or heart. Let's dive in. All right, let's dive into today's episode. Today, we're going to be talking about color your way to more. And I have an amazing guest with me, Amy Janece. And Amy is a personal brand image specialist specializing in empowering entrepreneurs, speakers, and professionals to look and feel your best by utilizing colors and make you be truly seen for who you were born to be, not who the world molded you to be. She believes that you are a masterpiece and deserve to frame yourself as such. Welcome, Amy. I'm so glad to have you on the show.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah. So tell me, I obviously know what you do because I've been colorized by you. And actually it was such a very cool experience. I really loved it. So tell us, how you got into this field of work and just, why you're so passionate about it.
So I've actually been a writer for over a couple of decades now, and I finally released a novel in my own name. And a couple of weeks after that happened, I attended a speaker retreat to support a friend. I had no intention of being a speaker, no intention of doing any of this, actually. I was quote unquote typed in the elements that weekend. And the only reason I said yes was because I figured for book launches or author photos, it wouldn't hurt to have a professional tell me what I should wear for those events, right? Had no intention at all of changing the way that I dressed. And when I was typed, first of all, I told the professional she was wrong because I didn't like the colors. That element didn't resonate with me. I'm a fire, by the way, which Elisa, you are too.
I am too. Yep. I also don't, I'm falling in love with the colors. Sometimes I look at them and I'm like, there's just lots of varieties of poop colors. I'm like, oh.
They are, well, okay, for clarification, they are the fall Indian spice colors.
Yes.
Terms. But yeah, most of us do have that same reaction. We are very fiery, stubborn people usually. And so, yeah, I told her she was wrong and I agreed to wear the colors for a week to prove her wrong. What happened instead was in less than an hour, I knew she was right. People differently right away. People who knew me and strangers. Now, the people who were in our group together, I was like, she could have told them, you know what I mean? Like, encourage them to compliment me. But strangers throughout the entire city of New Orleans, not so much.
Wow.
So people treated me different. Now, 8 of us got typed together, not at the same time. It is a one-on-one type of situation. Basically getting your colors done. And then I've added more to it since then, but we'll get there eventually. Basically, 8 of us went shopping together to buy things in our new colors for this speaker retreat that we were at. And when I was done shopping, I started helping the other girls get their colors. And the person who was facilitating was like, you have an eye for this. You really need to let me train you. I was like, no, concentrating on my writing. Don't want to do this, but thank you. The changes in my life were so significant from just changing the colors I wore. In less than 6 months, I had doubled my income. My relationships with friends, family, colleagues, clients, and strangers had all increased. But more importantly, I felt more at home in my own body than I ever remember feeling. So my mother is a business coach, so I paid to get her typed. And she had even better results than I did. She quadrupled her income that first year. And I was like, right. I was like, okay, so this is kind of magic. So we went on a shopping retreat, me and my mom, with the same facilitator. And again, I'm helping people pick out their colors and their clothes. And she was like, "You really have an eye for this. You should let me train you." I was like, "No, no, I don't want to." I resisted for I think a year and a half. And the only reason I finally said yes was because I was like, I can type my family and friends and not have to pay someone else to do it.
Right.
Then I went to an event and I got to present this, and I was like, maybe I should at least take on a client or two and get reimbursed for the training. That's how this started, um, which was cool. Made the money back. That was fine, but it wasn't about that. That's not what made me start doing this. When I finally presented it publicly for the first time, I had three women come up to me after I spoke throughout the rest of that event and tell me that my words changed their life.
Wow.
That's when it clicked. Okay, fine, I'm listening. I'm listening, and this is like I feel like we all have a role in the big scheme of things, right? Like we're a drop in the bucket as far as humanity goes, but we all have a role to play. And if we listen to the calling, so to speak,
Mm.
um, to give our gift back to other humans. And I felt like I'm here for something, like there's some kind of impact or some kind of encouraging something I'm here for, but I didn't know what or how. And with that response, I was like, this is it. Because I'm very passionate, especially for women, about encouraging self love and confidence and like loving yourself as you are. This gave me the platform to do that in a massive way. So while what I do is superficial and, on the surface, addressing you, it's really not because, as you know, through the process that we went through, um, it's actually deep into the core of who you are and letting yourself come back to the surface beyond the titles and the roles you play and the person that the world told you should be into like getting back to the basics of who you actually are because the best thing you can be for yourself and the entire world is be you.
Right. Yeah. And sometimes that gets like stomped down as a very early child. So you don't even remember her. Right. I
No,
don't know if I remember being fiery because it was so much safer to be quiet.
that's the thing we learn through obligations, roles, rules, stories that are put on us, as well as what's safe, especially if you have some trauma, which we all have trauma to one degree or another, and we don't rate or rank trauma. Like the body experiences trauma the same, whether it's something that most of us would consider minor or not. So when you go through these things, you do adapt and learn what's safe. And coming back home to you is where you give yourself permission that it is safe to be you, it is safe to be seen, and the world actually needs you for who you were born to be. And it's like all this pressure and all this weight that you have on you can just be lifted because you get to love that inner part of you who wasn't safe to be loved before.
Right. Which is so beautiful. I absolutely love that. And it's like thinking about me with the whole fire thing, like when I think about how I am fiery, maybe like before everything that you taught me about what a fire is, um, it was, I think I was taught, or like the way that it came out before was like through like, I don't know, like anger or kind of like aggression or like protecting myself. So I had to like, like I'm tough, kind of like reaction. And that was very much also a learned behavior. And so it was like, oh, it's to be fiery in certain ways because I do this and I do that. And I was like, right, but I don't like that's not how I actually want to react. And so it's kind of interesting how um like that quiet sort of like calmer side that I sort of always thought that I was more um like now I can kind of see that I can like be fire in my own way, and then it's okay. So I'm trying to very much figure out what that is, and how I can, yeah, like who it is that I want to be now, and how can I let the fire shine through? And it's interesting little ways. It doesn't have to be this like, I want to burn people. I can warm them, right? I can make them nice and warm and cozy. That's what fire does too.
Okay, so for clarification, my system does utilize the four elements: air, earth, fire, and water. We just happen to be two fires here together. And I look at it like fire can be aggressive and all consuming, right? It can also be clearing out old for renewal. Like fire comes in many forms. There's the warm campfire that you sit around and you make great memories and it warms your soul. And then there's the inferno. And I have like similar, I guess a similar outlook on like I know how explosive my anger can be. So I would tuck it all inside because that's not who I want to be. And I mean, well, it's going to combust at some point, usually at the most inopportune times. So I'm learning that there are other ways to express that fire. Like,
Exactly.
and also keep in mind, this isn't putting you in another box with another like label, right? There's a lot of ways to express the elements, and it's not saying, oh, this is the box you fit in. Your personality and your core characteristics do have a role to play in determining your element, your primary element. You have all four in you. Um, some of the other ways that a fire typically expresses is if we set our minds to something, there's absolutely no stopping us. That pure decisiveness. And when I was typed as a fire, that was one of the characteristics I got caught up on because I was like, I'm the least decisive person I know. I was very watery when it came to decisions where like go with the flow, back and forth, whatever. But I did realize when I was examining it that if it's something I really have my mind and heart set on, there is no stopping me. The things I really don't care about, like where are we going to go eat? I really don't care. If I have a taste for something, it's a totally different story, but that's rare. Typically, though, I don't care. So I'm indecisive on that because it doesn't matter to me. So, like, it's examining those types of things. And it's the same thing with your inner fire, where that spark is. Um,
Mhm.
Fires are movers and shakers, go getters. Uh, we believe Oprah and Michelle Obama are fires. So think about like how those women embody things, whether you're fans of theirs or not, they are movers and shakers, right?
Mhm.
Um, you make your own way, you forge your own path. Like no one is going to stop you if it's something that you're like, no. Think about a fire. Even if you put this fire out, it might skip and start again over there because there's no stopping it if it wants to burn. Um, that's how I look at us as, the fire element people, I guess you could say. And it has nothing to do with your zodiac sign. Just going to throw that little quick one out because a lot of people are like, oh, yeah, I'm a whatever sign. Zodiac wise, I am so earth, it's not funny. And in this system, earth is my very least element. So,
Interesting. Yeah, actually, when you said earlier about being stubborn, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm a Taurus, which does know about stubborn characteristics. And actually, I was just in a summit speaking yesterday, and you had to bring people in to share gratitude on them. And I did with one of my coaches, and he was just said how stubborn I was too. And he's like, but that's a strength in business. And I was like, okay, too funny.
I see that it definitely can be. I'm a Capricorn. So, I didn't realize how, okay, yeah. Same, just stubborn all the way around, stubborn. But it has its place. It has, just like everything else, there are benefits and not so great things to that. So,
Yeah, I love also in your story of how you um the signs that were given to you were all very positive. Sometimes I hear people's stories, and sometimes it's like, like a negative kind of story that gets them to see something or something, like crazy is happening or whatever. And then they're like, okay, I'm listening, but with you, it was these beautiful things and these compliments and people being, like it kind of, I like that. I think that's really sweet that
I
you saw it that
mean,
way.
there was one that I guess probably wasn't the greatest. Even after that event, I was still kind of like, okay, maybe I'll take a couple clients. Like I didn't see this being my whole thing yet. And I think because of that little bit of reservation that I still had, my two biggest clients at the time for like freelance type work I was doing, my two biggest clients both changed their entire business models and didn't need my services anymore. And I was like, okay, so now I have no income. So I guess we're really going to try this. So, I mean, that was the not so pretty sign, but definitely like you get those nudges and those signs. And when you ignore them, you're like, oh, when I really look at my life going back to childhood, this has been a thing. I used to like not design. I would tell my grandmother what clothes I wanted for my Barbies because I that was the one girly thing I did as a kid. Everything else was like outside beating the boys. But I had Barbies. I had the Barbie mansion and all the Barbies. And I would do little soap operas with them and like have little fashion shows with them and play dress up and dress the boys in the neighborhood up like girls. Like that was my thing. But my grandmother crocheted. So I would tell her what I wanted for my Barbie clothes and she would make them for me. And then in high school, I was in this club called DECA, Distributive Educational Clubs of America. And it was brand new to my school. My second competition was the state competition, which I was in California. And I won first place in the state of California for fashion merchandising
Oh, no way.
without any, yeah. And it was like brand new. No, like our teacher didn't know what she was doing, our instructor, like nobody knew what they were doing. And I still won in that entire state. It was like a pretty big deal. And at the time, I didn't even think of it. It's like when I look back, I'm like, oh, there were signs like everywhere.
Right. I love that.
And then I was interviewed for a brand video recently, and he asked what my parents did. My father made ink, like the color ink for like what you see printed on the plastic bags and paper bags and wrapping paper and things like that. He made ink for that, and he was something like a color chemist without a degree. Like he could tell you how many drops of each color you needed to make a specific shade of another color.
Wow.
And fun fact, when they had the missing children's pictures on the milk carton, he's the one that actually, he didn't like get massive credit for it, but he's the one that figured out the final thing to actually make that work. So like
Oh,
so the color is like in my DNA if if we really look at it like that. So anyway, the signs have been there for much longer than I realized. It's just looking back, you start to see like, oh, okay, I'm supposed to be doing this.
yeah. So season three of this podcast is scaling on your terms, which I feel is very much aligned in how you help your clients because they are the ones that, succeeded in doing well and are scaling and therefore them being in alignment with what they're wearing and even hiring someone to help them shop. And even like, I know like our mutual business coach always talks about you about how he's like, I got Amy to dress me and she just tells me what to wear. And so you definitely work with people who are scaling. And I feel like, yeah, if they are in alignment with their colors, they are scaling on their terms. So yeah, I just don't know if you want to speak to that at all.
Absolutely. So I believe that a few different things should typically are in alignment when you do scale, right? Personally and in business. When who you are, your authentic self, matches the words that are coming out of your mouth, your message, and how you appear, because a good percentage of us are visual. When all three of those things are in alignment, it allows other people to lean in more naturally. So that
Mm.
means you're going to scale in your relationships and your business and your income. And typically, when something feels off, I've worked with so many people who we look at and we're like, oh my God, they're so successful, but they can't quite get to that next level. And as soon as we do their colors and they lean into that, they go. And it's typically because of that alignment. So like there might not be anything, there's nothing wrong with you. There might not be anything wrong with your business or your business plan. It might just be that simple last little switch of alignment that allows you to scale. And even when I leaned in and started this business, I had no idea that it would grow to the point that it is. At that time, like, so I married the training that I have from the person who typed me and a couple of other modalities, as well as my background in psychology and then doing research on color psychology. So I've married all of those things together to create the system that I use. And all that I saw at first was typing people. Like, here's what you are, here's a little cute PDF. Now go off and rule the world. Not quite literally, but I didn't see that there was so much more that I could do and provide. And now it's gotten to the point where I have people helping me pick out their bedding so that they sleep better because the energy of color affects you in such a massive way. So, th- yeah, scaling and growing is massively important. And I believe that that comes back to alignment because if something is off,
Mm.
if any of those pieces are off, there's a block and it's going to stop you from going to the next level.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, no, I totally agree. And something that I also love that you teach is, and like how it kind of connects with what I do when launching is, someone's doing, you're working with a coach and they do a 3-day event. There's like an energetic and emotional flow that goes with that you want to take all your registrants or the people who bought tickets on a journey with, that actually is strategic and done in a way to make people feel certain ways at certain times. And colors is definitely something to do with that. Could you share a little bit about that, about kind of the types of colors that people should wear at different sort of stages in that, and the way
Yeah,
you want to make people
absolutely.
feel? I love that.
Absolutely. And I love that. Okay, first of all, I have to give you kudos on this because some people plan launches and events just to plan launches and events, and they don't understand that journey. So I love the way you work in that respect because even movies and books, everything we do, there's this journey. Humans like the emotional journey. So I love that you acknowledge that and plan for that. I think that that's very, oh my gosh, the word was in my brain and just popped out. Um, it's great. It's great. There's a better word, but right now I'll say great and not bad. Anyway, so yes, so you get your color palette in the system that I have. You get your color palette, and within that color palette, there's different energetic sections. So you get to be intentional with the colors you wear. So I'll take you through the traditional 3-day event. Day one is typically about the foundation and connection, right? Because some of the people sitting in your audience might know you, they might know of you, or they might not know you from the next person on the subway. So and that was a weird analogy because I had never been on a subway. Anyway, random. So, day one is about connection and foundation. So, I recommend that you wear your flesh tone colors, which aren't as simple as that sounds, but that's okay. Your flesh tone colors that are in your palette, because that opens your heart for connection. And also, you compare that with your foundational colors because those are like your personal power colors. They always help you stand in your strength. So you're in your confidence, you look great, you feel great, and your message energetically and visually to your audience is, hey, my heart's open. I believe in this, and you can trust me. So it helps establish that connection. Day
So
two,
cool.
day two is traditionally where we turn it up a notch, right? A little more energy, a lot more of the core. Like now we're connected. Now I can really get into the nitty gritty and share things with you. And usually there's an invitation. And because of that, I like to suggest that my clients wear their dynamic colors. Your dynamic colors are like your supercharged colors. They're your closing colors. They're your money colors. And by money, I mean closing sales. They are the colors that when you walk in a room, everyone notices you and knows that you have something important to say, even if they don't know you. When when you walk in a room in your dynamics, people notice you because your energy is saying, I'm the expert. And when I open my mouth, you're really going to want to pay attention. So that's what you wear on day two if you're making, especially if you're making an offer. Day three, if you're taking them on that journey, is more about coming back home, like how great the community is. We're going to have fun. Like it's not all going to be, pressure. Um, so on day three, I recommend going back to the foundations, but also adding in a little bit of pastel colors, not
Mm.
just random pastels, your particular pastels, because your pastels invoke joy. Right. So it's like, yes, they're like backyard barbecue colors or the party. We're going to hang out and have a good time. This community is going to be like that. Now, this is generic. Certain types of coaches or certain types of communities, I might recommend tranquil colors.
Mm.
Even on first day or even for a certain segment, your tranquil colors and hold on. For the host, I definitely recommend tranquil colors after the event. For the host and the team, really,
Mm.
they help you relax. They help you rest, especially if you are an introvert and now you've been peopling at this event. You know what I mean? Like you want to relax and come back to that. Your tranquil colors help you do that. Those are typically the colors in the bedroom also. Your
Mm.
tranquils help you rest, relax, get back with you. So if you're dealing with with high emotions, like maybe a lot of shifting, a lot of like overcoming trauma type stuff, like if it's like a retreat type of event,
Right.
tranquil colors are going to help hold that space for ease and softness and rest and like not
Mm,
passion. Like I definitely would not recommend reds at one of those events. The reds are
right.
passionate, bring the emotions up.
Hmm. Yeah. Oh,
That
that's
was
so
probably
cool.
a lot.
Yeah. No, that was great. I love it because you don't even realize, I don't think, or at least I didn't realize that colors and what you wear can send those messages subconsciously to people. And even just wearing, yeah, like pastels or wearing or putting tranquils on, how that's going to make you feel. It makes me think that I got to get some of those pajamas. Actually, I have some red pajamas. I should probably stop wearing those. But yeah, so it's and I just love that. And it's, why not? Because you're going to be trying to dressing up anyway for your event. You want to look as might as well be in your colors, and they help with your event. They help people connect with you. They help to show that you have authority, and then also show that it's calm, it's cool, it's fun, and I think that's kind of good too, especially for people if they did purchase right away, like on day two after your thing. The next day they want to feel like they made the good decision, and so like those colors can kind of help them feel that way and be like, yes, I'm so excited for it. And the people who haven't bought yet, then that'll get them into that place. If they were kind of on the fence, it could help. So thank you for sharing all
Absolutely. I
that.
mean, in our society, it's generally frowned upon to go without clothes for most events. So if you're
Yep.
going to spend money on clothes anyway, shouldn't your wardrobe become an asset? Like
Yeah.
you're investing in these clothes anyway. Let it be an asset that works for you and not against you.
Yeah.
So, for example, the color red, like I said, it's a very passionate, raising the emotions type of color. If you're in the right red, that can be great on a sales call or even on an event where you want to get the energy up, right? Might be great for the MC on day one. Like we want the energy to be up. If you're in the wrong red for you, everyone has a red that's good for them and reds that are not. If you're in the wrong red for you, it's like you're subconsciously screaming at people.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So red is a very powerful color either way, right? Great for date night if you're in the right red, not so great if you're in the wrong red.
That's
So
so interesting. I
it
have to make sure I don't wear the wrong red when I'm around my mother.
there you go. So if
Because I
that's a
wouldn't want
tense,
her to feel that I'm screaming or even bringing that energy to myself as like irritation. Like, oh.
if it's a tense relationship, wearing your tranquils usually helps. I had a client who she's a child custody mediator and
Oh,
she used
wow.
to wear a lot of bright, bold colors and reds and all kinds of things. And her clients always had bigger blowups than like everyone else in her department. And she was like, what is going wrong here? Like, sweet lady. Well, we discovered she was wearing the wrong colors. She started wearing her colors, more importantly, her tranquil colors on mediation days. And all of a sudden, her clients were the calm ones. I mean, child custody is not a calm situation, right? It's very
Mm.
intense, but the emotions came down. It wasn't as explosive. And she was like, yeah, I don't wear red on mediation days, like ever. I was like, yeah, good idea. So it really impacts more than we realize, but energy is energy,
Yeah.
right? So, and again, if we're going to invest in clothes anyway, might as well make it an asset that works for us instead of against us.
Yeah, yeah. And it is amazing going through because Amy gives you this like fan of your colors. And so you can put it on different clothes and you get all of them and be like, okay, what does this match? And so after I got my colors done, um, here in Canada, we have Boxing Day, which is like December 26th, which is like, it's kind of like a Black Friday sale. It's the same type of thing. We now also have Black Friday, but before it was always Boxing Day. And I think the idea is that everybody's done their Christmas shopping. So now they're just trying to, kind of clear their inventory. And so it's always amazing sales with shopping. And so this Boxing Day, I went and I was in that change room forever, like putting every piece of clothing down, putting the four things. I was like, oh, that's not my coat. Oh, that's not my coat. This is my color. Okay, like, does it fit now? Do I like it? And I was able to purchase my colors. And sometimes I just did it right out there on the floor. I'm like, I don't even care if people see me what I'm doing with these colors. And I did it with everything in my own wardrobe as well. Like, I'm going to wear this today, and I'd be like, Oh, that's a watercolor. Oh, that's a watercolor too. Oh, that's water as well. Like most of my wardrobe is water. Even what I'm wearing today is water. I'm like, okay, I'm not ready to completely change my entire wardrobe yet, but I don't know. I get it. I'm phasing it out bit by bit. But yeah, it's so interesting to do that. Yeah. So like as now when I do shop, it's like I'm definitely going to make sure I get my own colors and because why not?
I love that. I think I get those looks too. When I take people shopping or when I'm shopping for people, even myself, I always use the cards and I'll lay them like, you know how a lot of stores have those flat, like tiered shelves for like jeans or folded t-shirts. Oh, I'll take the clothes off the hanger racks and go lay them flat and put the cards on. And store lighting is usually not ideal lighting, but you
Mm.
still usually get a good enough idea, is this in my element or not? And it's funny because people will start following me through the store, like especially the employees, like, what is she doing? And they'll usually ask. So it's fun. It's a great conversation. It's a great conversation starter. Maybe I'll start just going to the mall to meet people. Just use that was a random thought. Okay.
Yeah, I did do that in one of the stores, and there was a woman that, because I was obviously there for so long, and I was like in and out of the change room, and she's putting something, and I was looking at this top, and she's like, "Oh, that's a really," she was kind of trying to sell it to me, like, "Oh, it's a really nice top. You can mismatch all these different things." I'm like, "Yeah, but you see, it needs to match." So I like I did it with her, and she's like, "Oh, I think it." I was like, "Which one of these do you think it goes with?" And she's like, "Oh, I think it goes with this one," and it was a watercolor, and I was like, "Oh, see, because I am this, and so it doesn't go, so it means I can't buy it." And she's like, "Oh." I'm like, okay. There was no argument. Like she just like she stopped trying to sell me on it. And then I think that she was sort of looking around a little bit to see if I had any other color things, but then I had quite enough clothes that I was just going to stop shopping.
That's fascinating, and I love that. I will tell you, it does get easier. I used to be so attracted to all the watercolors, and now I get really excited about fire colors. So it can be a switch, but it's because we're so used to showing up as that identity because that's
Mm,
what kept us safe. So we're attracted to that because it's who we thought we needed to be liked and loved and safe. And as you start coming back home to you, all of a sudden you get excited about your colors. It's a process. And I'm not special in that way. Like I went through it, so I totally understand it. And I've watched so many of my clients go through it where I'm like, okay, this is like legit way bigger than I thought it was, talking about scaling again. But it does get easier. And as time goes on, you will find that you start to get really excited and attracted to like fire colors. Another thing that I found is we usually start gravitating to one color and we get
mm.
excited about that color because we know that that's our color. And then we'll start looking in our closet like, okay, now I wear nothing but this color. So it's time to add another one. Like in the beginning, I was never an animal print girl, but I
Mm.
knew like leopard and cheetah print were fire. So I started buying that because it was easy because I knew it was mine. And then a friend of mine made a comment about how all that I had was leopard print. So I was like, well, all you have is plaid. But anyway, so I stopped buying leopard print for a while. I have enough of that now, but it's fun and I bring it out occasionally. But I do notice that I tend to go through like being attracted to a certain color and then I'm like, whoa, okay, I have a lot of that color. Like let's find a new color
Switch it
now.
up a little bit. Yeah, I actually I did get a printed um shirt and also like in the two in-person events that I've been to so far this year, I made sure I like only took my colors with me. And so I was wearing a shirt, though it did have black in it. I was like brown, kind of cream, and like little spots of black. But I was like, okay, because I got most of my wardrobe is black. So I was like, okay, I'm easing out of it. I'm easing out of it. And we were in this room, and there was one woman that kind of kept on like looking at me, but she was across from me, so I didn't think anything of it. And then after she was like, "Where did you get that top? Like, it is like you are stunning in this shirt," and like was like so complimentary about it. And I was like, "Oh, thanks!" Like, it made me feel better about wearing the prints and and my colors. So it was nice.
I love those stories. It's it's funny how the most resistant ones of us typically have very impactful stories like that. Um, I had one client who was like, okay, fine, I'll listen. I don't think you're right, but I'll listen. I get that all the time. I don't think you're right, but I'll listen. So she went to a 3 day event as an attendee and came back and was like, there was about, I think, 100 people in the room. And by the end of the event, I think about 80 of them had complimented her. She
Wow.
was like, I have never had that happen. All 3 days, like a third of the room on each day was like drawn to her, like, oh my God, you look great. Like, how do you know? One lady was like, at the on a 3 day event, she said the third day someone was like, you look great in every single color you wear. Like, how do you do that? And she was like, I didn't invent new colors. Like, I didn't say, oh, here's a new crayon. I just learned what colors work for me. And she was like, and man, do they work for me. Like, I've never had so many compliments. I get that a lot, which compliments are great. Um, and they do make you feel good. And there is also, I'll say one of the best compliments that I've gotten from a client was someone who was very resistant to me for years. And suddenly she leaned in, was hosting her own in person 3 day event, and she teaches high ticket sales. And she texted me after the event and said she was trying to fight me during the event on what to wear, and I was like, look, it's your event, but this is why I'm telling you to wear this. So she listened even though she didn't want to. She messaged me after the event. She said, I looked great every day. I felt great every day. I looked amazing. She did say that twice. And then she said, but I think the coolest thing is that that event doubled the sales of our highest event ever before that.
Wow.
I was like, so
Oh, maybe
I
there's
was
something to
like,
this.
when I get that on video,
Yes, let's do it again.
she sent me. I love it. But it's so you feel when you feel more like you show up in a bigger, more powerful way. And it's these subtle things that you don't think make a difference, but they do. Down to the metals you wear, the neckline you wear, the type of patterns, all of it matters.
So if you are interested in any of that, because it is super powerful, you should definitely get in touch with Amy. So tell us how our listeners can find you online.
I am on most of the social media platforms, Amy Janece, so AMYJANECE. And my website, of course, you can get in touch with me through that, is embodyyourelement.com.
Nice. And you
So
have a gift for everybody. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Spell it out.
I was going to spell it out, embodyyourelement.com. And yes,
Perfect.
I do have a gift. It's
Yes.
3 secrets to look and feel great.
Awesome. Yes. And we'll have a link for that in the show notes. So please get that gift from Amy. And to finish us off, do you have any final words of wisdom?
Absolutely. So words of wisdom, but also a challenge.
Mm.
Um, okay, well, first of all, let me give you this. There are a couple of colors that look great on everyone. So I don't want you to leave here going, well, yeah, great. Now what do I wear since my whole closet is black? That's most of us. Eggplant, that deep dark purple, that color looks great on everyone. It's still dark, so it's a great alternative to black. And a true teal, not too blue, not too green. Those are two great colors to start with if you don't know. So now that we got that, um, I truly do believe that you are a masterpiece and you deserve to be framed as such. And your clothes are simply the frame. So, with that being said, I would like to challenge you to look in the mirror every day when you wake up and before you go to bed and give yourself 3 compliments. It doesn't matter if it's the same compliment, try to do different ones, but if that's hard, I understand. And if you don't have that confidence or belief in yourself, let me hold the mirror for you until you get there. So if you can't think of a compliment, pretend that I'm there giving it to you or your mom or your best friend or your kid or someone who loves you and adores you and try to see yourself through their eyes. Give yourself 3 compliments, internal, external, even if it's the same thing like, girl, your hair looks good today. That counts. And if you have to repeat it 3 times, that's fine. As you do this, you're probably going to avert your attention to the places that you dislike, and you're probably going to try to tear yourself down. That is a habit. When you realize you're doing that, take a deep breath and reset. We're not looking for the things we want to change. We're looking for the things that we appreciate and love about us. So start there. Did that make sense or
Um,
was that too?
no, that totally made sense. Yes. Thank you so
Okay,
much. And
good.
thank you for giving people that, yeah, that permission. They don't have to do it perfect. They can repeat the same thing, but also, maybe eventually you feel more comfortable and you can give yourself, 6 different compliments in the day. Thank you so much for that. And thanks for being on the show. This is a wonderful conversation and sharing all your wisdom and letting everybody, I don't know if anybody knows, everybody who's listening knows about this kind of world. So thank you for introducing people to that, and definitely get in touch with Amy. She is amazing.
Thank you. I'm honored to be here. So thank you for inviting me and having me. And I appreciate you and all that you do.
Thanks, Amy. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. I hope it inspired you to live a more authentic life. I'd love your help in inspiring more people to live authentically. So please follow, rate, and leave a review so we can create a ripple effect of authenticity. Until next time, stay true to you, be bold, and thrive on your own terms. This is Elisa, signing off authentically.